Hello and welcome to today's Delta Credit Tip. So are you wondering whether a voluntary repo or an involuntary repo makes a difference on your credit report? Well, stay tuned. We're going to fill you in on that and much more on today's Delta Credit Tip. Welcome back to today's Delta Credit Tip. I'm Michael Holmes with Delta Credit Restoration, bringing you yet more information to help you in your credit restoration process. Hopefully you'll find this information helpful. If so, give us that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so that every week as we come out with more information to help you in your credit restoration process, you get this information as we produce it, you use it right away, and you get in front of the curve and everything's all well and good. All right, but let's talk about repos today. So big question that we get all the time, or assumption that we hear from a lot of our clients, is that, well, I brought that car in, I surrendered that car, I took it to the dealership. That's not really a repo, right? Actually, it is, right? But we're going to talk about, is this going to make a difference on your credit report? And we're also going to talk about some of the procedures in a repo that could help you remedy your credit on the back end. But when it comes to whether you voluntarily give them the car or whether you walk outside and you got a very empty driveway, the net result on your credit report as far as whether or not it's a repo or voluntary or involuntary, it really doesn't make a difference on the score, right? They repoed the car, you gave them the car, it's still considered a repo, and from a scoring perspective, it doesn't make a difference. However, there is the opportunity to resolve it differently based on how it was taken. Now, repo laws are debt collection laws, and then each state has their own version of what debt collectors are allowed to do. So really, if you want to understand what the repo laws are for your vehicle in your state, you're going to have to look at those state laws. For us here in Florida, well, there's really three things that you're going to want to take note of. One is that once your car has been repoed, okay, they have to give you a 10-day notice of the time, the date, and the place that they plan to sell your vehicle. Okay, and this is important because this gives you the opportunity to what they call cure it. It gives you the opportunity to come and pay what you owe and get your vehicle back. Okay, on that amount, they also have to provide you with an itemized list of how they came up with the amount that they claim that you owe. So they can't just say, okay, give us X amount of dollars. They have to have an accounting measure as to what they claim you owe. Now, obviously, if this is 6 months ago or 12 months ago, that those numbers are still very important because you need to know what they sold the vehicle for, right? It's a different kind of itemized list, but it's an itemized list nonetheless. Okay. Now, when it comes to how much they actually sold that vehicle for, this is really where a lot of people feel like they got a kick in the pants, because you may have a $30,000 car that they sold for $12,000 or $10,000, and it just doesn't seem what they call commercially viable, right? And that is an option to argue when it comes to whether or not you owe the full amount that they claim. Unfortunately, to get that kind of declaration, you're really going to have to go to court for that. That's not, it's going to be your version against theirs, and the definition of commercially viable is very arbitrary. So, knowing the value of the car that you're buying or that you bought, the current Blue Book value at the time that it was repoed may be a good idea in trying to establish whether it was commercially viable or not. But that's a very, very difficult thing to prove. What is much easier to prove is, did they give you the proper disclosures to cure that debt before they got rid of all your stuff, not to mention the stuff inside your vehicle. All right. So again, know your state laws, but recognize that regardless of whether they took the vehicle or whether you gave them the vehicle, it really doesn't make a difference on your credit report. One last thing about repos is if you're going for a mortgage, recognize that if they haven't sent it to a debt collector, chances are you might not have to settle that debt. But give us a call if you need any help with that here at Delta Credit Restoration. We can help you with our services here. Or try our YouTube channel. Check out some of our other videos. Maybe they can help you out as well. But in the meantime, make a choice, make a change. Delta.